Hello, welcome to the Southern Bible Thumper channel. In this upload, we will be reading 1 Samuel chapter 6. And the ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. And the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, What shall we do to the ark of the Lord? Tell us wherewith we shall send it to his place. And they said, If ye send away the ark of the God of Israel, send it not empty, but in any wise return him a trespass offering. Then ye shall be healed, and it shall be known to you why his hand is not removed from you. Then said they, What shall be the trespass offering which we shall return to him? They answered, 5 golden emerods and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For one plague was on you all and on your lords. Wherefore ye shall make images of your emerods and images of your mice that mar the land, and ye shall give glory unto the God of Israel. Peradventure he will lighten his hand from off you, and from off your gods, and from off your land. Wherefore, then do ye harden your hearts, as Egyptians said Pharaoh hardened their hearts. When he had wrought wonderfully among them, did they not let the people go, and they departed? Now therefore, make a new cart, and take 2 milch kine, on which there hath come no yoke, and tie the kine to the cart, and bring their calves home from them, and take the ark of the Lord, and lay it upon the cart, and put the jewels of gold which ye return him for a trespass offering, in a coffer by the side thereof, and send it away, that it may go. And see, if it goeth up by the way of his own coast to Bethshemesh, then he hath done us this great evil. But if not, then we shall know that it is not his hand that smote us, it was a chance that happened to us. And the men did so, and took 2 milch kine, and tied them to the cart, and shut up their calves at home. And they laid the ark of the Lord upon the cart, and the coffer with the mice of gold, and the images of their emerods. And the kine took the straight way to the way of Bethshemesh, and went along the highway, lowing as they went, and turned not aside to the right hand or to the left. And the lords of the Philistines went after them unto the border of Bethshemesh, and they of Bethshemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark, and rejoiced to see it. And the ark came into the field of Joshua, a Bethshemite, and stood there, where there was a great stone, and they clave the wood of the cart, and offered the kine of burnt offering unto the Lord. The Levites took down the ark of the Lord, and the coffer that was with it, wherein the jewels of gold were, and put them on the great stone. And the men of Bethshemesh offered burnt offerings, and sacrificed sacrifices the same day unto the Lord. And when the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day. And these are the golden emerods which the Philistines returned for a trespass offering unto the Lord. For Ashdod one, for Gaza one, for Askelon one, for Gath one, for Ekron one. And the golden mice, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines belonging to the 5 lords, both of fenced cities and of country villages, even unto the great stone of Abel, whereon they set down the ark of the Lord, which stone remaineth unto this day in the field of Joshua a Bethshemite. And he smote the men of Bethshemesh because they had looked into the ark of the Lord. Even he smote of the people 50,000 and 60 men. And the people lamented, because the Lord had smitten many of the people with a great slaughter. And the men of Bethshemesh said, Who is able to stand before this holy Lord God? And to whom shall he go up from us? And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kirjath-jearim, saying, The Philistines have brought again the ark of the Lord. Come ye down and fetch it up to you. So, summarizing 1 Samuel chapter 6, what has happened so far? In chapter 4, let me look it up to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Okay, so in 1 Samuel chapter 4, Israel went to war with the Philistines. The Philistines were beating them very badly. And so the Israelites decided, let's go get the Ark of the Covenant. Now, the Ark of the Covenant was a special item that was created in the book of Exodus under Moses' leadership. And the Ark of the Covenant is a symbolism of God's presence. So it's been preserved all these years by Israel since Moses' leadership. And it was at a refuge city in Shiloh with under Eli. So then Israel says, well, let's go and get this Ark of the Covenant since we're losing so badly in this war to the Philistines. We will be able to ensure victory if we have this item. So when the Ark of the Covenant was brought back to Israel by some messengers, the Israelites rejoiced. They, their hearts filled with confidence. And when the Philistines found out that the Ark of the Covenant was in their possession, the Philistines were uh, deflated a bit and worried about if they could win this war, because the association with this is Moses' legacy of performing the miracles in Egypt. So the Philistines are worried. The Israelites are emboldened. They go to war again with the Philistines, and the Philistines decimate them mercilessly, even though the Israelites have the covenant. So not only do they beat them, but they also take their Ark of the Covenant. When we get to the last chapter, 1 Samuel chapter 5, the Philistines now have the Ark of the Covenant in their temple. They find their God face down with the head and the hands cut off. And so this terrified the Philistines. In addition to that, the people began to break out in these tumors or growths, these skin conditions. So the Philistines decide, instead of leaving this ark in this city, let's send it to another Philistine city. So they send it to another city. The same thing happens where people are starting to break out with illnesses, the tumors. So they send it to another place. And after they send it to this third Philistine territory, they get with the Philistine leaders and say, look, we need to send this back to Israel. So here we are in 1 Samuel chapter 6, continuing that conversation of this brainstorming. How are we going to get this Ark of the Covenant back to Israel so we can stop experiencing these terrible things? So, verse 1, we learn that the Ark has been in the Philistine territory for 7 months. Then we look at 6 verse 2. This is continuing that conversation in 6 verse 2. And the Philistines are consulting with their leaders and saying, what shall we do? How can we send it back? And the Philistine leaders tell the people, don't send it back empty. Send him a gift offering. In the King James, it says a trespass offering. I honestly believe a trespass offering or guilt offering is mentioned in the King James, but I wasn't able to find it quickly. And this small detail of being able to reference that in the book of Leviticus is not going to add that much more information to help me clarify what's going on right now in this story. So I'm not going to take the time to try to find it. I tried to do a cursory glance, just I wasn't able to find it right away. So, but I do believe this is mentioned. So, to get this ark back to the people of Israel properly, the Philistine leaders say, well, don't just send it back with something. And so they're like, well, what kind of thing can we give to him? So the Philistine leaders tell the people, create 5 golden tumors and 5 golden mice. So there's 5 leaders of the Philistines, and then these gold tumors and mice, these figurines, would represent the plagues that affected the people in these territories. And so they also tell them, once you create this, there's more conversation here, but once you create these figurines, take a cart, and a cart is something that, an item can be placed on and carried somewhere. So you take 2 milk cows, which are female cows, take the calves away from them or the children away from the 2 milk cows, take this new cart, place it or, attach it to them, to the yoke. And a yoke is uh, it's a structure that goes on an animal's neck to help carry things. So take the Ark of the Covenant, take the figurines that you create, put them on the cart, have the cart attached to these 2 female cows, and then send it off. The other thing was, well, box. We did see coffer in the King James Version, and a coffer just means box. So what the Philistine leaders are suggesting is the best way to send the Israelite of the covenant back to them. Take take a box, put the 10 figurines of 5 golden mice and 5 tumors, put that in the box. Put the Ark of the Covenant on the cart and put the box with the figurines on the cart. Have the 2 cows carry this cart, and if it goes to the way of the Israelites, well, then that's confirmation that it was the God of Israel that, all of these plagues were, that is who this was from the God of Israel. But if it doesn't go to the God of Israel, then it was just a coincidence. So that's what the Philistine people did. They obeyed, and the cows went straight in the direction of Beth Shemesh, which is in Israelite territory. The Philistines followed them. When the Israelites saw the cows with the Ark of the Covenant, they rejoiced. They took down the Ark and they used the cows and the wood of the cart to make a burnt offering to God. So this verse 17 is just mentioning the golden tumors, um, the cities that these tumors represented, and the people that I guess were affected: Ashdod, Gaza, Ashkelon, Gath, Ekron. But we did only see that Ashdod, Gaza, and Ekron were the ones to receive the ark. So, not sure. The golden mice were to number the cities belonging to the 5 lords. Also, it says he struck some of the men of Beth Shemesh, meaning what this is saying is people died, and the reason why they died was they looked in the ark. So there was another they weren't supposed to look in the ark, and then it was something like the Levites. Again, this is another thing that I should go back and look up, but people looked in the ark that weren't supposed to look at it, unauthorized. So it says here 70 men died, but this is another discrepancy because when we look at the King James, it says 50,070. But then when we look at the New Living Translation, 70 men died. In the Christian Standard, 70 persons. But the New American Standard, 50,070. So 1 Samuel 16. So I'm going here to the interlinear because this is the closest translation to the original from Hebrew to English. So when I encounter a discrepancy like this, where there's different information in one of the 7 translations in Bible Ref, I'll go here as a tiebreaker. So he struck the men of Beth Shemesh because they had looked into the ark. He struck 70 and 50,000 men. So just wanted to point out that how much of a discrepancy with some of these translations can occur. And so far, it does seem like these are small discrepancies that don't, it's not a huge deal that 50,000 versus 70 men died. The point is, some men died for looking inside of the ark. But we do see that 50,000, 70, and just 70, that's 2 different numbers. So after the people of Beth Shemesh died for looking inside of it, they contact the inhabitants or the Israelites living in Kiryat Jearim and tell them, "Can you get the ark? The Philistines brought it back."